On July 2, 1937, a distress call crackled through the static over the vast, empty Pacific Ocean. It was a voice the world knew well. Amelia Earhart. "We are on the line 157,337, she reported. "We are running on line north and south." It was one of the last messages ever received from the famed aviator. Then, silence. For over 80 years, the disappearance of Amelia Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, has remained one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. What really happened on that fateful flight? Was it a simple case of getting lost and running out of fuel? Or is there a more complex, perhaps even darker story waiting to be told? Today we're diving deep into the final mysterious hours of Amelia Earhart's life, exploring the leading theories, the cutting-edge science, and the haunting clues left behind. Amelia Earhart wasn't just a pilot, she was a global icon, a symbol of courage, adventure, and breaking barriers in a world dominated by men. Her goal in 1937 was audacious, to become the first woman to circumnavigate the globe. The journey was a grueling 29,000-mile odyssey. By late June, she had already conquered the Atlantic, Africa, India, and Southeast Asia, with over 22,000 miles behind them. Only the vast expanse of the Pacific remained. The next leg was the most dangerous yet, a 2,556-mile flight from New Guinea to Howland Island, a tiny, flat speck of land just 2 miles long and half a mile wide. To call it a needle in a haystack would be an understatement. The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca was stationed near Howland, tasked with providing weather information and guiding Earhart in with radio and smoke signals. On July 2nd, at 10 a.m. local time, Earhart and Noonan took off from their Lockheed Electra. 10E was heavily loaded with fuel for the estimated 18-hour flight. At first, everything seemed to be going according to plan. Earhart sent routine radio messages reporting good weather, but as the flight wore on, something went wrong. The radio communications became problematic. Earhart could hear the Itasca, but the Itasca could barely hear her. Her transmissions were strong, indicating her plane was functioning, but the communication was one way. The crew on the Itasca listened, frustrated and helpless, as Earhart's voice came through, sounding worried. She reported being close but unable to see them. "We must be on you, but cannot see you," she transmitted. "Gas is running low." The Itasca's crew desperately tried to guide her, even burning oil to create a massive column of black smoke, but it was useless. The last confirmed message from Earhart was at 8:43 a.m. ship's time, and then, nothing. The most widely accepted explanation is the crash and sink theory. This theory posits that Earhart and Noonan simply missed Howland Island, ran out of fuel, and crashed into the deep Pacific Ocean. The Lockheed Electra, a heavy metal aircraft, would have sunk quickly, taking its occupants with it to a watery grave thousands of feet below. This was the official conclusion of the U.S. government's investigation. It makes sense. Navigating across a featureless ocean with 1930s technology was incredibly difficult. A small miscalculation by navigator Fred Noonan, cloudy skies obscuring his celestial navigation points, or unexpected winds could have easily pushed them miles off course. Their radio problems meant they couldn't get a proper fix on their location. In this scenario, they were doomed the moment they flew past Howland Island, searching in vain until the engines sputtered and died. The ensuing search was the largest and most expensive sea search in history at the time, covering 250,000 square miles of ocean, but not a single piece of wreckage was ever found. This lack of evidence is what keeps the mystery alive and fuels alternative theories. This brings us to one of the most compelling and enduring alternative theories, the Gardner Island hypothesis. Now known as Nikomaroro, Gardner Island is an uninhabited coral atoll about 400 miles southeast of Howland Island. The International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, or TR, has championed this theory for decades. They believe that when Earhart realized she couldn't find Howland, she turned south along the line of position she had mentioned in her final radio calls. This line passed directly over Gardner Island. TIA suggests that Earhart and Noonan managed to land the Electra on the flat reef surrounding the atoll during low tide. From there, they would have become castaways, surviving for a short time before succumbing to the elements. The evidence for this theory is circumstantial but tantalizing. In the days following the disappearance, radio operators across the Pacific and even in the United States picked up faint, garbled distress calls that they believed could have been from Earhart, transmitting from her downed plane. More concretely, expeditions to Nikomaroro have uncovered some fascinating artifacts. In 1940, a British colonial officer discovered a partial human skeleton, a woman's shoe, a sextant box, and other items. Tragically, the bones were later lost, but modern analysis of the original measurements suggests they were more consistent with a female of Northern European ancestry like Amelia than any other population. Other expeditions have found bits of plexiglass consistent with the Electra's windows, pieces of aluminum that could be from the plane, and even an old jar of freckle cream, a brand Amelia was known to use. It paints a picture of a desperate struggle for survival on a deserted island. Could these be the final, tragic remnants of Earhart's and Noonan's last days? The Gardner Island theory is compelling. But then there are the theories that veer into the realm of espionage and conspiracy. One popular narrative suggests that Earhart's flight was a cover for a U.S. spying mission. The idea is that President Franklin D. Roosevelt tasked her with flying over Japanese-controlled islands in the Pacific, like the Marshall Islands, to gather photographic intelligence on their military buildup. In this version of events, Earhart and Noonan were either shot down or forced to land by the Japanese. They were then captured, and their fate was sealed to prevent the spying mission from being exposed. Proponents of this theory point to unverified accounts from Marshall Islanders who claim to have seen a plane crash and two white people, a man and a woman, being taken into custody by Japanese forces. Some even claim to have seen the execution of the two flyers on the island of Saipan in 2017. A photograph from the U.S. National Archives added fuel to this fire. The photo, taken in the Jalowit Atoll in the Marshall Islands, appears to show a white woman with short hair sitting on a dock with her back to the camera, and a white man standing nearby. Some researchers claim this was photographic proof of Earhart and Noonan in Japanese custody. The Japanese warship Koshu is visible in the background. However, this theory has been largely debunked. Military experts and Japanese bloggers quickly proved the photo was taken in 1935, 2 years before Earhart's disappearance, and was part of a Japanese trip. While the spy mission theory makes for a thrilling story, it lacks any hard verifiable evidence. The U.S. government has always denied it, and there are no official records to support the claim. It remains a fascinating, but likely fictional, chapter in the Earhart saga. So, where do we stand today? The truth is, we're still searching. Technology has advanced in ways Earhart could never have imagined. Deep-sea sonar and autonomous underwater vehicles are now capable of scanning the ocean floor in incredible detail. Robert Ballard, the oceanographer who found the Titanic, has led expeditions to search the deep waters around Maroro, hoping to find the wreckage of the Electra where Tyar believes it was washed off the reef. So far, the plane remains elusive. The Gardner Island theory, with its collection of artifacts and logical flight path, seems to be the most plausible alternative to the simple crash and sink scenario. The partial skeleton, the freckle cream, the aluminum fragments, they create a powerful narrative. It feels more human, more tragic, to imagine Earhart and Noonan fighting for survival as castaways than to picture them simply vanishing into the abyss. But without the plane, we can't be certain. The ocean jealously guards its secrets, and the Pacific is a very, very big place. The mystery of what happened to Amelia Earhart is more than just a historical puzzle. It's about the enduring power of a legend. Earhart represented the boundless potential of the human spirit. She flew into the unknown and, in a way, never came back. Her disappearance cemented her status as a near-mythical figure, frozen in time at the height of her fame and courage. Perhaps it's this element of the unknown that keeps us so captivated. As long as her plane remains lost, we're free to imagine her fate. Was it a swift, tragic end in the cold, dark ocean? A desperate fight for life on a sun-scorched atoll, or a secret mission that went horribly wrong? Each theory tells a different story about her final hours. The search continues. Every few years a new expedition sets out, a new piece of technology is deployed, a new clue is analyzed. Maybe one day a sonar image will reveal the unmistakable shape of a Lockheed Electra resting on the seabed. Maybe a DNA test on a newly discovered artifact will provide a definitive link. Until that day, the silence that followed Amelia Earhart's last transmission on July 2, 1937, will continue to echo through history, a haunting reminder of one of aviation's greatest heroes and one of its most profound mysteries. What do you think happened? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like and subscribe for more historical mysteries.